Hey there and welcome. If you're living in Florida, you know that a screen enclosure is pretty much essential to the lifestyle, right? But actually building one involves this crucial process that a lot of people just don't know much about. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the entire screen enclosure permitting process so you can go into your project feeling totally confident.
I mean, just look at this. This is the dream. An outdoor space you can actually enjoy all year long, no bugs, with a gorgeous view. It's really more than just a patio. It becomes part of your home, a spot for family, for relaxing, and just soaking up that incredible Florida weather.
But you know, to get from that dream to this reality, the first step isn't picking out patio furniture or planning that first pool party. Nope, it's actually a legal step, and it's the one thing that ensures your beautiful new space is safe, it's compliant, and it's truly built to last.
And that first step is the permit. And I want to be really clear. This is not just some optional piece of paperwork. You should think of it as your official license to build. It's the legal foundation that your entire project is going to rest on.
So I'm going to throw a number at you. 95%. What in the world could that be referring to when we're talking about screen enclosures?
Well, that's the percentage of screen enclosure projects that absolutely require a permit before anyone can even think about starting construction. You see, a permit is your guarantee, your official confirmation from the city or the county that the design meets all the safety rules and zoning codes. Trying to build without one? Oh man, you're risking fines, demolition orders, and just a whole lot of legal headaches. So the most important thing to remember is the permit protects you.
Okay, so before any plans even get drawn up, it's time to do a little detective work right in your own backyard. This is all about understanding your exact location, your property boundaries, and really importantly, what's literally underneath your feet.
First up, your geography is your destiny, so to speak. You have got to know if your property is inside the city limits or if it's in an unincorporated county area. And as this chart shows, cities, well, they often have much stricter rules and way higher fees. We're talking sometimes 3 to 5 times higher than the standard county process. So this one little detail can change the whole game.
All right, next we have to talk about a really critical term you'll hear, the setback. So what is it? It's the mandatory minimum distance from your property lines, and no part, not 1 inch of your new structure can cross into this zone. And they exist for really important reasons, like making sure utility workers can get through or just providing a safety buffer between homes. It is a hard and fast rule.
And this diagram just illustrates it perfectly. You can see the property lines, and then that shaded area shows the setback zone where you just can't build. It doesn't matter if it's 5 feet or 25 feet, that rule is absolute. And when it comes to installation, there is 0 deviation allowed, no wiggle room.
And finally, let's look down at the foundation. A screen enclosure has to be built on a reinforced concrete slab that's structurally sound. But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. That slab itself must have been permitted correctly way back when it was first poured. If you try to build on an unpermitted patio, or on pavers, or even dirt, the project will automatically fail its inspection. Game over. Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the engineering. Because let's face it, things in Florida are just different. We have hurricanes, and a screen enclosure here isn't some temporary tent. It's a structural extension of your home, and it has to be engineered like one.
Every single project requires what's called site-specific engineering to make sure it can handle Florida's wild weather. And this really boils down to 3 key things that have to be baked into the design right from the very beginning: wind load, site-specific calculations, and strict rule compliance.
So let's break that down. First, the structure has to be designed for hurricane-force winds, and that's all laid out in the Florida Building Code. Second, the engineering math has to be specific to your exact address and the enclosure's unique shape. There's no one-size-fits-all here. And third, the whole design has to follow state rules for structural integrity. This is what makes it safe, this is what makes it legal. So you've done all the detective work, the engineering is ready to go. What does the actual permit process look like from here? Let's take a walk through the roadmap. The whole journey starts with preparing all the documents and submitting them. And then comes the waiting game. The review period is the most variable part. It can take anywhere from 1 to 4 weeks, sometimes longer, just depending on how swamped the local building department is. They'll do zoning reviews, structural reviews, maybe even environmental checks. If they ask for changes, corrections are made, and then, finally, the permit is issued.
Now, I want to highlight one of the biggest potential delays in this whole process. It's a document called the Notice of Commencement, or NOC for short. Think of it like the official starting gun for your project.
It's a formal declaration required by Florida law on any project over $2,500 that work is about to start. Here's the key. This form has to be signed by you, the homeowner, get it notarized, and then filed with the clerk of courts before the very first inspection can be scheduled. Getting this done quickly is absolutely crucial for keeping your project moving.
All right, to wrap things up, I want to empower you by tackling some of the most common and frankly, most costly misconceptions that homeowners have. Let's separate some myths from reality.
Hey, it's my property. I can build right up to my fence if I want to. The reality, as we've already covered, is that setbacks are non-negotiable legal boundaries. You simply cannot build inside of them without getting an official and very time-consuming variance.
Myth number 2, and I hear this one all the time. The concrete patio looks perfectly fine to me. The reality? Well, how it looks doesn't matter one bit to an inspector. If that original concrete slab doesn't have a permit on file with the county, you cannot legally build a new structure on top of it, period.
And the final big myth, my HOA approved it, so I'm good to go. The reality is that an HOA approval and a municipal building permit are two completely different animals. The city or county's official zoning codes will always supersede your HOA's guidelines. You have to have both approvals.
And that really leaves us with one last question to think about. Whether you're planning a screen enclosure or any other project, is it built on a foundation that's not just physically solid, but legally solid too? At the end of the day, understanding and correctly navigating the permit process is really the only way to make sure your new screen enclosure is a beautiful, safe, and valuable addition to your home. It protects your investment, and honestly, it just gives you peace of mind. Now, if you're looking for experienced professionals who really understand Florida screen enclosure regulations, permits, and engineering, the contact information for Screen Factory Florida is available in the description below.